Hey there, YouTubers. We're going to do a BIOS update for the H410i Pro Wi-Fi by MSI. Now, a couple things before we get going. Let's check our BIOS version. All right. So, I like Intel's Extreme Tuning utility. It's pretty quick for me to access, as I have it here. All kinds of ways to find out your BIOS version, including going to the BIOS. In here is our BIOS version 2.0, and I'll show you how you figure that out. Release date 9/4/2020. Okay, so remember this and remember that. And then, of course, this is the motherboard we are using. Okay, so before we get started with this, couple of safety notes. All right, things can go horribly wrong with a BIOS update. If you happen to have a backup battery, not a bad idea to have your CPU plugged into that as well as plugged into the wall. You want to ensure that you are going to have power throughout this process, okay? So what are things, that can cause power outages? Well, rolling blackouts. Maybe you're in an apartment that they're going to do some construction. They're going to shut the power off. Maybe you're in the middle of a lightning storm, which could, cause the power to go out. Windstorm, hurricane, tornado, or other natural disaster. Okay, lots of things to be cautious about. So you'll want to make sure that you are aware of that situation. Now, if you do happen to have, you're doing a BIOS update and it does go south, you could brick your motherboard, okay? Keep that in mind. So you definitely want to know what you're doing. Hence why you're watching this video most likely, okay? So we're trying to go through every little step, everything you can think of. A lot of, the people that make these BIOS videos do not cover those kind of things, which is sad. If you're really going to do a BIOS update, you need to understand the full potential. And if you do brick your motherboard, it's done, folks, pretty much, unless you've got one that has a dual BIOS. Now, I like to do my BIOS updates in the first 30 days of having bought something from Amazon. Less likely to do it after that, okay? Unless, of course, it is a motherboard that will allow me to jump from one generation to another generation of Intel CPU. So, in case you're wondering, H410 does not support 11th gen, okay? So, doing a BIOS update to support that is not going to do anything. All right, they cheaped out on us, along with the B460. They're not supposed to support 11th gen, so this BIOS update will not do you any good there. All right, enough of that. If somebody's tracking how long I talk for, go ahead and put that in the comments, please. Appreciate it. H4i. Now we're getting into this. So this is the motherboard, okay? And you're going to do a search in whatever search engine you're going to use. Once you hit enter, it should return this. This is what we want. We're going to click on it. And I am currently in Africa where the internet is super freaking slow. But we'll get through this. All right, so here's our web page. All right, we're going to click on support. And then we want BIOS, okay? So you see all the other stuff that's in here in case you're not aware. This is always a good place to get familiar with. Drivers, manuals, utilities. You can find out compatibility CPU-wise. Usually your M.2s and RAM will be in there. All right, back to what we're here for. So remember what I told you to keep an eye out for, right? We're looking for version 2.0. Okay, that does say version 20, but that's version 2.0 and that release date, okay? You see the next version, 21, 2.1, version 2.2.1, okay, beta version. Things to notice, obviously file size, release date, description, okay? This was the one that most likely came with your BIOS or on your motherboard. This is the next BIOS, and you can see what's in here. Now, what am I looking for in here, folks? I'm looking for one that actually tells me, hey, I have to install this one first before I can do the most up-to-date, okay? Sometimes that happens. In this case, no. We can go right to the latest BIOS, and this one is cumulative, so I get all the great stuff that happened here, if any of that was really that great. And so now we'll click on this, We're going to download this, and we're going to put this on a thumb drive, all right? So, boom, it shows it downloaded, and this is using, what is this, Microsoft Edge. So, you'll see in some of the places, you know, different web browsers, it will show you a different way. Now, from here, we're going to click on this. We're going to say Show in Folder. It's going to end up in your Downloads folder, okay? So, the other way would have just been to go to File Explorer and boom, click on this, okay? Alright, so there's our file. We're going to right click on it, Extract All. And if I open this up, there's 2 files in here, okay? I don't need this extra folder, so I'm going to just copy this one over to my thumb drive, alright? Now, if your BIOS doesn't see this file, that means that your thumb drive is not formatted correctly, okay? So you want to find out how to format that correctly. There's other videos on how to do that. Offhand, unfortunately, I couldn't tell you the exact one. Alright, so we've got this file, we're ready, okay? This is, you know, right before we're going to enter the BIOS. So what I would do here, and you're not going to see it, is I'm going to click Restart, and then I'm going to hit the delete key on my keyboard as the BIOS starts to come up. Alright, so that's going to end this part of this. So like I said, we are going to restart our computer. Restart, and of course over here where you probably can't see it, I'm going to start jamming on this delete key in a moment. Now we do have a solid state drive in here, so it should boot up relatively quick. And I'm already jamming on it. Down here you may see a message. It all depends on the motherboard. Yeah, it was actually right there in the middle. Here we are in the BIOS, okay? So this is the easy mode, okay? And what we want to do is go over here to where you see M-Flash. System will reboot and enter flash mode. Do you want to enter flash mode? Yes, I do. Alright, so you guys should do your weather checks again, you know, in case you watch this at a different time from when we first got going. Alright, so enter flash mode, and voila, okay? So, of course, we've got a HP drive in here, and you can actually see down here where it says the current BIOS, okay? Alright folks, so we're in our BIOS. What we're going to do now, just so you can see it, here's another place to see where your BIOS build date is, okay? And this is, you know, hard to see, but that's the 2.0. Alright, so we're going to go down here. This was easy mode, okay? We're going to go down here and click on M-Flash. It's going to ask us this question: system will auto reboot and enter flash mode. Do you want to enter flash mode? I do. So I'm going to click yes. And hopefully we'll be able to see our drive. Enter flash mode. And voila. So this drive is the one I actually have it on. You can see over here what we have in our directory. Okay, that's the folder. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to back out here so you guys can see it better. Now we're going to click on this file. Are you sure you want to select this file? Hell yeah. Yes. BIOS is updating. Okay, so at this point, you see your keyboard, your mouse. You're going to back away, folks. Get away from the computer. Do not touch it, okay? And this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause it. So even though I've got it paused, one thing I wanted to show you. Version 2.0 to 2.2.1, alright? We're at 54%. And this is going to take at least a couple minutes. It should restart automatically. You can see how fast it's going now. So I'm glad I started recording again. 85. We're almost there, folks. So you see a little note there, do not turn off. Don't pull, oh yeah, don't pull out your USB drive. That's one thing I've never thought of even mentioning to you all. During a BIOS update, definitely do not pull out your thumb drive. And like I said earlier, don't turn the computer off. Alright, so we're restarting. And we're going to click on delete here shortly. Have it go back into, actually it didn't do it, it restarted all the way. So we're going to restart and go into the BIOS just so you guys can see that an update has occurred to the BIOS. And hopefully I didn't unplug my keyboard. Alright, so we're looking for, boom, we're in the BIOS. And now you can see we have an updated BIOS file, folks. So that's going to do it. Hopefully, you know, this thing's running like it needs to. We have two 2133 megahertz RAM. So while I'm in here, folks, I need to get my RAM up to the right speed. But I'll spare you guys from that. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.